Superficial scribblings on sexism. Superficial scribblings on life. Who the fuck needs criticism when I can always be right? Yeah! Just like a little guitar riff at the end. It's just... Anyhow, here we are, unfortunately, again, to talk about superficial scribblings on sexism. Or, I guess, domestic violence in this regard. Because, feminists always have to get their little tendrils on everything. Even things that objectively are bad, like 50 Shades of Grey. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Daily Mail's recent article, 50 Shades of Abuse. Protesters demonstrate outside UK premiere, claiming explicit film glamorizes domestic violence. The film I'm talking about is 50 Shades of Grey, which is just a fetish film. Anyhow, let's read it. The film adaptation of S&M film, that should already give you an idea that this is not a film that supports domestic violence. 50 Shades of Grey is out this weekend. Campaigners 50 Shades is domestic abuse argue it glamorizes violence. Well, that was a really awkward sentence. You know what's funny is that a few weeks ago, I was making fun of that phrase 50 Shades of Grey, and I just said 50 Shades of domestic violence, just as a joke. I did it as a fucking joke, and now people are actually taking this seriously. So you can see the decline of society already. Feminist demonstrators say the movie romanticizes abusive relationships. Sure it does. Protesters unfurl banners saying Christian Grey is a rapist. But actress Dakota Johnson says her character is not abused in the film. Well, I'm not going to say that Dakota Johnson knows it all, but if what I know about 50 Shades of Grey is a man and a woman do a lot of kinky fucking shit. They do it consensually together. You know what? Whatever. Women who claim 50 Shades of Grey promotes domestic violence and glamorizes abusive relationships are rallying outside the film's UK premiere in protest. Yeah, they're going to get that movie banned just like The Interview. Woohoo! Freedom of speech! Feminist campaigners 50 Shades is domestic abuse. Why not just say 50 Shades of domestic abuse? When I have to read that out loud, it's just, ugh. Say the novel dangerously romanticizes the idea that women can fix broken men. Is that a problem, apparently? Wait, so you're telling me that women trying to be supporters of men who, are broken, lonely or something like that, is a problem? Jesus fucking Christ, no wonder you can't get a date. A handful of men and women, so 24 people, stood outside the central London premiere in Leicester Square today, unfurling a banner calling Christian Grey a rapist, even though he's a fucking fictional character, as stars made their way along the red carpet. So I'm not going to look at the video. Christian, predator, not... Oh, sorry, I thought they were referring to the Christian religion. Christian Grey. Christian Grey, predator, not protector. Clearly they haven't seen the fucking movie. Oh my god. Scroll these bullshit fucking things. The film on the red carpet, Dakota Johnson, who plays Anastasia Steele in the film, said she wanted demonstrators to see the movie. Yeah, that might actually help, instead of just jumping to conclusions. There is no part of the movie where Anastasia is abused. All the choices she makes are her choices, and it's all consensual, she told the BBC. Well, even more so than that, they're fictional fucking characters. What? Do feminists think that if this movie did advocate for domestic violence, that when people see it, they're going to say, oh, now I'm going to fucking beat my wife when I get done watching this movie? Yeah, totally, of course. That makes perfect fucking sense. bullshit. Anna is a woman with incredible integrity and strength. I think that she is fiercely exploring her strength in sexuality, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I love for the protesters to see the movie, which I think has the opposite message. And that just shows you that the feminists in this regard are absolutely fucking ignorant. I mean, assuming that they haven't seen the movie, they're just coming up on a fucking whim at this point, making an accusation without actually seeing the movie for themselves. If you wanna watch a movie that possibly supports domestic violence, go see the fucking Twilight series. Why don't you? And even then, I'm not going to be fucking protesting saying that people are going to get fucking, like, manipulated by this bullshit. It's a stupid movie series anyway. And this is a stupid movie. Ahead of the release of the controversial film on Valentine's Day, activists called on the public to consider whether they should endorse the movie. Well, it's too late. The movie's already out. Tough fucking shit. A bunch of feminazis bitching outside the premiere is not going to do any favors. Kelly Collins, who runs campaign group 50 Shades is Domestic Abuse, said the story portrays an abusive relationship. Without watching the movie, I imagine. I wonder how she came to that conclusion. Like, maybe she just saw the trailer and then it was like, that's abusive. I would never do that. She said that if readers considered the lead character, Christian Gray's behavior, out of context, it would appear extremely alarming rather than alluring. Who would take his behavior out of context, you dumb bitch? That's the point, right? Is that if you take it out of context, it may seem like fucking abuse. That's the only way you're going to come up to this conclusion, you fucking... you stupid son of a bitch. She said, it is romantic when somebody tracks your phone. When somebody knows where you live before you tell them, sells your only means of transport, or buys the company you work for, how can you marry that with being romantic? What? Okay, I'm not going to say I've really know the movie myself, but how does that sentence imply at all anything to do with domestic violence? This is not like some kind of this movie is not some kind of thriller where somebody's going after somebody when that person clearly is not in love with them. These two are in love with each other and they want to do some kinky bullshit. And honestly, that's not really a movie. That's just a fucking fetish film for you to just pull your pants below your ankles as soon as the movie starts and just go away with it. I mean, you wouldn't do that in a movie theater, but you get the gist. And how can you marry that with being romantic? I don't think they've actually married. I think you maybe should watch the movie before, making a fucking statement. But of course, that's the point, right? Because you said, if you take fucking Christian Gray's shit out of context, it may seem that it's an abusive relationship. And we were going to keep it that way. Because fuck trying to actually delve into the particulars of the movie. And of all movies, why? Why? Fucking 50 Shades of Grey. Okay. Miss Collins, who is a consultant working to end the abuse of women through banning a movie, apparently, said that after reading all 3 books, she felt left deeply concerned about the amount of domestic violence that was being romanticized and celebrated. Did you read the same book? Did you, did somebody give you, a cover of 50 Shades of Grey, and then inside was fucking the Twilight series? I never made that joke before, but, I'm not gonna say that I haven't read the fucking book myself, but as far as I've heard, it's just a fetish book. Essentially, just one step below something pornographic. He added, the thing that I would say to people who are reading the books, who are going to see it, is if he wasn't rich and very attractive, would this behavior be normal? So, okay, so it's only fucking normal if he's rich and attractive. So, if he was poor and not attractive, but the woman just happened to be attracted to him anyway, now it's not normal. You fucking vain, self-entitled bitch. The group asked users to take photos of placards that explain why the story is offensive to them. Oh no! Beginning with 50 Shades is... One photo sees a victim. Oh my god! A victim? What, a victim of watching a offensive movie? Is that really what it's gone to now? People can actually be a victim of something that offends them. Great. One photo sees a victim holding up a sign that says 50 Stages, telling survivors that what happened to us is really just romance. Really? Right? You're talking about like rape victims, right? Because everything that goes on in the movie and in the book, because movie adaptations are different from the book adaptation, is supposed to be consensual. Which is why a lot of people get their jimmies off from it. It's all fucking sexual. And I don't like the pretense that a movie like that, or something like that, could be made into a movie, because there's not going to be any fucking depth to it at all. It's just fucking pornographic. That's my introspect on it. That 50 Shades is fetish. That's what it is. 50 Shades is fetish, not domestic abuse. How can it be fucking domestic abuse? I don't know. This is... 50 Shades is domestic... Consent is sexy, abuse is not. Well, 50 Shades is consent, so, you haven't watched the movie. Proof, the Twitter account posted this picture where a reader had folded down all the pages in the trilogy of the novels where there was abuse. Wait. Of gray, darker... What? Oh, okay, well, whatever. 50 Shades is telling survivors that what happened... Oh, yeah, I already read that. That was absolutely fucking bullshit. 50 Shades is giving the dangerous impression that unwanted control, manipulation of stalking are forms of love. It's not fucking stalking. She, goes to a fucking business meeting with Christian Grey. She's attracted to him. He's attracted to her. They fall in love, and they do a lot of kinky shit. Okay? And they're both consenting to this. She wants to get fucking hit with a whip. He wants to whip her. Where's the fucking problem with that? If you don't think if that's not what you're into, okay, fine. That's not what you're into. But just because that's not something that you would be sexually inclined to do does not mean that what they're doing consensually with each other is fucking abuse. It probably would be if somebody was doing it to you, but they're not. So fuck yourself. Amid the protests, some 50 Shades fans dressed up and spanked each other as they waited outside the cinema. That would be fitting. A fitting defense. Another says 50 Shades is giving... yeah, I already said that. She also criticized exploitative retailers who are taking advantage of the franchise's popularity and created branded merchandising to cash in on the publicity. In a capitalist society, how fucking vicious. Wow. What fucking vicious thieves they are. Marketing something that they put millions of dollars into making a movie into. What fucking pigs. They should have just put it underground and let people find it for themselves. Yeah. The books, written by E.L. James, follow the sadomasochistic sexual relationship between the two protagonists, Seattle billionaire Christian Grey and the Murr student Anastasia Steele. That description right there should be an indication that what is going on is not non-consensual. But remember what Colin said, is that if you take it out of context, it may seem like abusive. So they're just going to take it out of context so that they can make that fucking conclusion. Ms. Collins said the campaign group were not against the sexual nature of the book. Yes, you fucking are. But there were other fans far more worrying themes in the novel. You are fucking against it, because if you fucking read the same book as everyone else has read, it's a fetish book for fucking people doing sexual bullshit and whatever. And assuming that you actually saw the film adaptation, because film adaptations are usually different than the book adaptations, you would have also come to the conclusion that it wasn't a fucking advocating domestic violence, that it's just in support of whatever weird fetish you want to do. We are not against BDSM. It is the other issues in the books and films which we say glamorize domestic violence. I'm trying to hear it in that snarky tone, because clearly she does, out of the context of everything. She has yet to actually suppose that Christian Grey could be domestically abusing her, and that he's taking advantage of her out of her own consent. I've spoken to people who have said that Christian Grey, was abused as a child, and that is why he is the way he is. Okay, yeah, but what about Anastasia Steele, who's perfectly fine with him doing this to her? Well, what does that say about her? It is also very dangerous to suggest that people abuse because of their childhood. I'm going to stop you right there. He's not abusing her. He's just saying that what it is that he's into that shit because he was abused as a child. And that he would like to perform some BDSM on her. And what does she say? Yes. And then they do it. So it's not fucking abuse, you fucking out of context taking twat. Because of their childhood. And yet women can fix broken men with enough love. And once again, is that a fucking problem apparently? What, women can't be supporters of men who have weird fucking fetishes that they need to fulfill, and that these women are perfectly fine, this woman is perfectly fine with, allowing? Is that a fucking problem? Miss Collins said that the aim of the protest is not to prevent people from seeing... Yes, sorry, I should have read the whole paragraph before I was making my rebuttal. Miss Collins said that the aim of the protest is not to prevent people from seeing the film, but to make viewers aware of what they are ignoring. Yes, see those invisible domestic violence themes are going on throughout the movie. If you just look at it with a particular fucking eye, if you take it out of context, right, then it's domestic abuse. But I imagine she is trying to prevent people from seeing the fucking film. Oh my god. It is not about censorship. People have the absolute right to go watch it. But there's something about the credibility that is given by the number of people who go and watch it. Credibility, huh? That's the thing? That when these people watch it, they get credibility from it or something? I don't see the statement there. She further expressed her concerns that the franchise has become part of everyday life. Assuming that we live in a society where everyone wants to perform BDSM, that would be true, but it's not. With some cinemas even hosting mummy and baby screenings. Wait, so a movie that is essentially a fetish film that I'm sure is going to be rated R for these fetishes is being screened to moms and kids, right? I mean, citation needed, please. Because if this was happening now, that would be a criticism of the marketing of the movie, not the movie itself. Die-hard 50 Shades enthusiasts slept out overnight, with others arriving before sunrise today, hoping to be first in the queue to catch a glimpse of the stars as they arrived at the premiere. Okay, that's typical of every fucking movie. I imagine there was people waiting at the premiere of The Hunger Games Mockingjay, or Interstellar, or The Interview. Well, not exactly The Interview, since that was all wish-washy there. After endless hype, excitement hit fever pitch at the film's world premiere in Berlin last night. A screaming fans scrambled to get a selfie on the red carpet with stars Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, who played Christian Grey, and his lover Anastasia Steele. Okay, so here's what we got here. A bunch of feminazis didn't watch the movie. They are making a conclusion, and they're saying that if you take it out of context, that you will notice that there is domestic violence going on, and that they pull up a double thing saying, "Oh, we're perfectly fine with people watching the movie. We just want to stop people from marketing it, right?" All right. So as usual, we'll read the fucking comments, which I'm hoping are a little bit more logical and not like, "Yeah, you go, girl. Stop them people from watching those fetish films." Mr. S says, it's a film with actors acting. Acting! It is not real. It is a story fiction. Make believe. Get it now? Stupid people. Yes, they are. Alright. K Midnight says, in a land with the freedom to fantasize how we please, some of us want to pretend we're being stalked, abused, victimized, dominated, and forced because that's what brings on that really intense feeling of release after a few moments of stimulation. Then we put the book down and return to real life. How many women have laid in bed at night with these images racing through their head just to have a few moments of bliss? Statistically, up to 57% as of 2008. Psychology Today. They say those numbers may be higher because some women may not want to publicly admit it. That's the whole point. I assure you, those numbers will continue to grow as women become more comfortable in their sexuality and the fact that it's okay to let their imaginations run wild. It is actually empowering to know that it's okay to share with the world, and we won't be treated like we're dirty for having these impulses. The majority of women are able to put 50 Shades of Grey into context and enjoy it. Yes, as you should always do with any movie, anything, is to take it within all context. If you take it out of context, you're going to look like an ignorant fucker. And the fact that the Miss Collins, Natalie Collins, was saying, please take it out of context, so that she's got a bunch of fucking prancy, whammy-pamby feminists complain how it's fucking violence, shows how manipulative she is trying to be. Farden3822 says, 50 Shades of Grey is a movie. It's nothing more than 9.5 weeks was 9.5 weeks was back in the 80s. Have fun tonight, guys. Okay. Mork Macat says, I have just had an amazing idea. Can we send all of our deeply spiritual feminists to fight ISIS? They seem evenly matched in their botched ideals that they could destroy each other and do the world a solid. I'm right with you there, pal. So, that was that. I'm not going to criticize the Daily Mail for having to unfortunately bring this story about. I mean, they still made this story like as if this is something to be taken seriously, but at least they were objective in everything that was going on. You know, getting all points of view. Still, the point of view of feminism is completely fucking insane, and they're trying to just complain about everything. Anyhow, I'll see you guys in the next episode.